Did you say you wanted tender? Hi, I'm Shuey, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make the most succulent and tender pork belly burnt ends ever. We are going slow, low and basic for this one. Just sit back, grab a drink or two and let's get into it. For this recipe we're going to need some skinless pork belly. And you want to look for something that's got a good fat to meat ratio. And thanks to Gippsland Premium Meats for hooking me up with this 3 kilogram piece of pork belly. You want to start by slicing it into strips about 4 centimeters wide, then just slicing each strip into 4 centimeter pieces. That's what you want. Nice little cube, 4 centimeters by 4 centimeters. Then all we have to do is place the pork cubes onto a cooking rack. Is it too early to like this video? Premature liking is encouraged around here. It's time to add some seasoning to the pork, and the good thing with pork, it loves sweetness and savoury, so I say hit it with both. I'll be covering these first with the Cosmos Sweet Honey Pecan. And don't be shy, get a good amount on there. Remember, flip them over. We want to get every side of these pork cubes. Now that we have the sweet side sorted, it's time to hit it with a savoury hit of Meat Mitch pork rub. And the same as the sweet, we just need to cover each side. And trust me, by doing it this way, this little bit of effort to make sure each piece gets fully covered, you'll reap the benefits. The flavour is going to be awesome. Now that these are fully covered, we can just put them aside until we get our barbecue ready. You can use any rubs you like. Just pick a sweet and a savoury one, just to add those layers of flavour. Today, I'm going to be using a 57 centimetre Weber kettle and the snake method. And how I'll do that is by making a line of briquettes and just making sure each one's leaning on the next one on roughly a 45-degree angle. We then want to make a second line of briquettes on the inside of that first line, and we'll finish this off with a line of briquettes on top. I'll then add 12 briquettes to a chimney starter and light them up. Now if you're struggling to get them alight, you can buy these stainless steel utensil holders from IKEA, and perfect for about 12 briquettes. And carefully using a pair of tongs, all you have to do is tip them out onto one end of the snake and just neatening up the charcoal briquettes. Now I'm also going to add 3 chunks of cherry wood from the best in the business, Slow Burn Smoking Wood Supplies. Now our first chunk is going near our lit fuel, and the other 2 chunks, I'm going to place them in, leaving a 50mm gap in between each piece, because wood actually burns a lot quicker than charcoal. Now I'll always add a foil pan to the bottom of the Weber. It aids in cleanup by catching any of the drippings, and if we overshoot our temp, we can use it as a water pan. I'll also put the grill back in place, and I'll add an ambient temp probe to the grill, and I'll put the lid back on, opening the vent, and I'm going to make sure that the ambient temp probe and the lid vent is on the opposite side of our lit fuel. That way we'll get a proper reading on our temp. I'll keep an eye on the temp, and I'll start closing down the bowl vent once we start reaching our target temp. By closing down the bowl vent before we hit our target temp, we won't overshoot it. The Weber's at temp now, so we can put the rack of pork cubes on the cooking grate, placing it as far away from the lit fuel as we can, and put the lid back on, remembering to keep that lid vent on the opposite side of our fuel source. That way the heat and the smoke will get drawn across our pork cubes. That's it. We can leave them alone for 2 hours. 2 hours to fill in with whatever you want to do. I know what I'm doing. We are 2 hours into the cook, so let's have a look. The bark should have set on these pork belly cubes by now. Perfect, the bark is set. You can tell because you can't rub it off. And look at that, we've got that beautiful mahogany colour from the cherry wood. So we can now wrap these up for the second part of the cook. All we've got to do is put them into a tray. And now all we've got to do is smother them with some sugar and some honey, a good splash of barbecue sauce, and plenty of butter. And lastly, a little bit of ginger beer. It's all right, it's ginger beer, it's non-alcoholic. You're still my first. And then just cover that with some foil. And we just pop this back in the Weber for 2 more hours. This is seriously the easiest recipe, allowing you to sit back and enjoy the moment. Today, I'm smoking with an indirect heat of 135 degrees Celsius, and the cook is going to take 4 hours. Or for those of you who like to use my beer timer, you're looking at an 8 beer cook. Now, some of you still think my beer timer's out. By all means, drink more beer, just set an alarm to wake you up. The pork belly cubes have been wrapped up for an hour and 50 minutes now. So it's time to warm up some of this rib candy sauce. I'll just pop the whole bottle into this little saucepan and I'll pop that into the Weber for the last 10 minutes to warm up. Now, any sweet sauce you have on hand will do for the glaze. Just like the rubs, it doesn't matter. Pick your favourite and use that. Well, that's time we can pull the pork belly cubes out of the Weber now. There we go. And we can get that sauce or the glaze out as well. Time to see what we've created. Oh, that smells incredible. 98, perfect. Little sponges of meat candy, but we're not done yet. So now for the fun, messy bit, all we're gonna do is roll them around in that rib glaze and get a nice thick coating on each piece. And these can go back in the Weber for 5 minutes. Now, if this is your first time to the channel, why don't you hit the subscribe button, and while you're there, hit that bell button. That bell button is gonna allow you to be notified every time I upload new videos. That's it, that's finally time we can get the pork belly burnt ends out of the Weber. Woo-hoo-hoo, how good do they look? So you wanted tender? Come on, I think we all know these are that good, they should be illegal. As always, cheers for watching.